Hi, my name's Morag and welcome to this video on the Food Safety Hub about pest control. So pest control is a very serious part of food safety. There's a long history of pests causing major food poisoning outbreaks in society, very long history. Pests will always have a huge microbiological load on them, pathogenic microorganisms of all shapes and sizes. So proper pest control is a very, very important part of maintaining safe food conditions for production, retail distribution, or whatever the business is doing. We separate the pest control into two sections. One of them is a pest sighting area. This is mainly used for staff. It's very important if they see some pests to report that. And that's basically what this control here does. And then there's a pest controller section, which is normally an authorised person or a company coming in periodically in a scheduled manner to assess the business to see if there's been any activity of pests, to review bait stations and provide their services for the business. So let's firstly have a look at the pest sighting area. So as you can see, this is a register. So the inputs that are put into the pest sighting, they'll all be registered there so we can see those instantly, and also the pest controller that comes in has to review this to see what activity the staff have seen. So to add a pest sighting, so if we saw pests somewhere in the production facility or in a kitchen, in a warehouse, whatever it might be, we add that location in there, being as specific as possible. This form will trigger an email to the food safety supervisor when it's submitted. So once we hit the submit button, this will trigger an instant notification because we need to get that information to the food safety supervisor as quickly as possible, as it might affect other stock, or there could be some continuing issues with pests. The activity that was seen, so whether they were dead, alive, or any sort of evidence, so if any droppings or feathers, things like that, that indicate that there's been some pest contamination. The type of pest, whether it was an ant, cockroaches, mice, rats, birds, all those sorts of things are all considered pests. What activity was seen, so a description of that. We can also upload an image, typically this will be done on a phone or a tablet, and we can use the camera on the device to upload an image or a number of images. So if there was any stock that was damaged, for example, or we actually could see the pest, it's always better to get an image of that. And then the actions that were taken. So any foods that have been in contact with the pests, they have to be disposed of. So it's very important the staff are trained on that and they understand the risks associated with that. And then the record is submitted. And once it's submitted, as we saw earlier, that will trigger an email, and it will also form part of the pest sighting log. The other part to it is the pest controller. So this one's quite simple. We've got a provider there, so whichever provider that is, the areas that were assessed, the activities conducted. Now this is typically completed by the pest controller. Staff, we can do this internally as well, but we can give them access to the Food Safety Hub just to this section, and they can upload their own information in there. The outcome, this part's quite important as to whether there's any action required by the business. If there has been some activity noted, the pest controller can put that in there, and again this will trigger an email, will trigger a notification to the food safety supervisor to say, hey, there's some major action required, and that will be documented what's required to be done there. Also the report, the certificate of analysis, or the report that they've got of their assessment, that can also be uploaded to this form. And then that's submitted, and that record is in the database.